Okay, there's one example. I want you all to complete this example before we move on to some other question or some other types of problems. Okay, please note down this. So we have a set of exams marks is approximately normally distributed with a mean of 75 and standard deviation is given as 5. Now, if the top 5% of the students get grade A and the bottom 25% gets grade F, what mark is the lowest A and what mark is the highest F? Okay, so using this 5% and 25%, okay, you are supposed to find out the value of, you can say X and Z, Z bar, or Z hyphen, you can say dash, depending on the given problem. Okay, and if you look at the problem given, your probability, that is the top 5% of the students get grade A, can be written as 5 upon say 100. That gives you 0.05. Okay, so while writing the probability, you can write for P, because we do not know the value of X, you can say X dash, you can take, or you can say X hyphen, or X1, whatever you want to take. So for P, X greater than equal to X1, or X dash, or X, you can say single quote on top, equal to 0.05. Now using this, I want you all to draw the graph, the bell curve, or the normal distribution curve, okay, and figure out how you're going to write the probability equation. That is especially for the area, whether it will lie on the positive side, the right side, or the left side, and how you're going to find out the values. Please give a try to this question, and then I'll also show you the solution for this given problem. Now for the first part, you can write the equation. If you take X as the marks obtained by the student in the examination, your mean will be M is given as 75, and your standard deviation, your sigma, is given as 5. Okay, using this values given to you, you can write the equation for your standard normal variate, that is your Z. Okay, so the formula for Z will be X minus 75 divided by 5. And then for the first one, that is for the lowest marks obtained by students getting grade A, you can take some variable and then try to solve it. Initially, it will look very complicated, but when you actually start solving it, it will become more clear. So I'll just give you some hints. The initial part, the starting part, I can give it to you. Okay. So we'll take X with the marks obtained by the students in the exam. Okay. With this, we can write the mean as well. Mean M is given as 75, and your standard deviation sigma equal to 5. So using this value, I can write Z equal to, using the formula X minus M divided by standard deviation, which will be given as X minus 75 upon 5. Okay, so this is your standard normal variate. Now, if I take X equal to X, now I have taken X, a single quote there, be the lowest marks obtained by the students getting grade A. Now, if you want, you can take some other variable as well. It's very difficult to pronounce that variable. So if I call it as X1 also, you can take it as X1, if X equal to X1. Okay, your formula will change. You will have X dash single quote equal to X dash minus 75 divided by 5. Okay, that will be my formula. Now, if I take the top 5% of the students getting grade A, now they get marks more than X dash or X quote, single quote. Okay, I should have taken some other variable. Well, fine. So when you're writing the probability, your P, we can write it like this. P into bracket marks more than, I'll call it as X1, okay, equal to 5%. That can be written as 5 upon 100, which gives you 0.05. Now, using this, I think you should get a fair idea of how to go about. Then you can write the equations, especially in form of the standard normal variate, that is Z. So you can write this probability function in form of Z and then do the calculation. If anyone gets the answer, you can just put it in the chat. Shonit gets the answer 83.2. Okay, let me check it out. Fine. Anyone else? .64. Okay, even Saurabh is right, but Saurabh, what you need to do is, if you remember Appendix A, or you can say the table for normal standard normal distribution. Okay, so you have to refer to that, and you have to go reverse and check the corresponding value for 1.64. Okay, so if I get the value as, replace this 1.645 in that equation for your standard normal variate and do the calculation. You should get the value of X, or X1, what we are writing X a single quote. Yes, yes. But we are going to, what we are going to do is, we are going to replace this into the function, the standard variate function for Z equal to the function which I gave you, Z bar equal to X1 minus 75 upon 5. And then we are supposed to find out the value of X, right? Z value is already found out. So Z is 1.645. Now use this value to find the value of X. Okay, 83.2 is the right answer. Shonit and Advait has done it. So both of you, congrats. Well done, guys. The others, please try it out. If you have not understood this whole problem, I'll try to explain you again. Just give a try. I hope Saurabh have understood this. What answer you have got, 1.64 is the right answer, but you have to replace this in the standard normal variate function and then get the value of X, because we are searching for the value of X, or X, you can say that single quote. Okay, I'll show you the answer, how we go about. The others can note it down. So once you get this value for P, okay, you can write this like this. I hope this is clear. So for all the values, X greater than equal to X, you can say single quote, and we are supposed to find the value of this equal to 0.05. Now this, if I want to write in form of Z, I can write it like this. So this can be written in form of P into bracket, or probability into bracket, the value of Z greater than equal to Z single quote equal to. Now this whole thing has been represented like this. So we have less than equal to Z here and less than infinity. Okay, now this is positive infinity, and the value is lying on the right hand side, or the positive side. Now the area to the right of your line z equal to 0 is 0.05 if you, as it is a positive one. Now which is less than the area of 0.5, it has to be less than 0.5. That means the point x or z dash or single quote is lying on the right hand side. Okay, that is between 0 and infinity, isn't it? So this whole thing can be written in this form. So we have the whole area, that is from 0 to infinity, minus from 0 to the z dash or z single quote, which will give me 0.05. Okay. If you have not understood, please go through it again. Because it is lying on the right hand side, the whole of the right hand side, it is less than the right hand side, the 0.5. And that's why this whole thing, the first part, this is 0.5. So 0.5 minus this p into bracket 0 less than equal to z less than equal to z single quote will give me 0.05. Okay. So we can write this in this form. This is clear? Now putting 0.5 on the other hand side, this probability between 0 and you can say z dash. So 0 less than equal to z less than equal to z single quote equal to 0.5 minus 0.05, which gives me 0.45. Now refer to this in the reverse order in your standard normal curve table, and you'll find that 0.45 is nothing but 1.645. Okay. So that table is very important, your standard normal curve table. This will give me the value of 1.645. Now using this value, I have to replace it in the standard normal variate function for z. Okay. So the function, if you remember, is this way. That is x dash or single quote minus 75 upon 5 will give me 1.645. If I solve this equation, I will get the answer as 83.225, which is approximately 83. Okay, so 83 is your answer. Fine. So the top 5% of the students who are getting grade A, the lowest is 83. Now using the same concept, you have to go ahead and solve the second part of this. Here we are going to check the mark which is highest of F, that is grade F. So what is going to happen is your equation, the previous equation where we had x greater than equal to, now instead of greater than equal to, we are going to have less than equal to. Okay, so this one, the first one, this part, this will be p into bracket x less than equal to x, and now in case of single quote, instead of single quote, I have put double quotes now. Okay, so in the second part, let us say x equal to x double quotes be the highest marks obtained by students getting grade F. Now, if I represent this whole thing into your standard normal variate function, it will be like this. So you have z, put the double quotes there, equal to x minus 75 upon 5. What will be the probability? P will be marks less than x double quotes. Okay. So for 25%, it will be like this. 25% can be equal to 0.25. That is 25 upon 100. Then solve this equation further. You can write it like this. So x less than, as I told you, it will be now less than equal to. Okay, previously it was greater than equal to. The answer is 0.25. Now, again, using this, when I use less than equal to, okay, so the area to the left of the coordinate is 0.25, okay, which is less than 0.5. Okay, so if I represent this whole thing in terms of 0 and infinity, okay, I can write it like this. So area to the left of the coordinate, where we have z equal to z double quotes is 0.25, which is less than the total area of 0.5, to the left of z equal to 0. Okay, hence we can say that z double quotes lies to the left portion of the normal curve. Clear? Now using again, if I write this p into bracket z less than equal to z double quotes equal to 25 by using symmetry, okay, I can write it like this: z greater than equal to minus z double quotes equal to 0.25. I hope you're getting it. Fine. So we'll further write this equation: minus z double quotes less than equal to z less than infinity equal to 0.25, which is probability between 0 and infinity minus probability between 0 and minus z double quotes. Okay. Now for the table, if I want to refer to the table again and do this calculation, we can write it this way. Now 0.25 will go on the other hand side. Okay, and you can write the equation and solve it further. So if anyone gets the answer, you can put it in the chat. There's something in the chat. 71.65. Okay, Shonit. Fine, Shonit got the answer as 71.65. Any other answer? Praveen got it as 71.63. Advait got 71.63. Okay. So all are right. Even Shonit, I think the decimal places you can write 71.625. So if you're rounding it up, it will be 62 and not a 63, right? And not 65. And because we are talking about number of students here, we have to write the approximate value. So this can be written as 72 as the answer. Okay. So let us, for those who have not done it, we'll solve this further and you can note down this answer. So I'll quickly just go through it, and please remember your table is very important. We can refer to that values and get the answer and then solve this standard variate, normal variate function to get the value. Okay, and you can see we have, because we have just shifted this negative sign, the minus sign on the other hand side, and we have got the value. Okay, so 72 is your final answer for this given problem. Okay, now what you can do is whenever I post this video on the website, you can go through it once again, one step at a time. Try to draw the curve and try to understand each step, how we have written it, how we have converted the probability function, okay, to solve it. especially when we are looking at the right hand side and the left hand side. Why left hand side and why right hand side? That is more important. Okay, fine. Let us go ahead with a new topic, that is sampling distribution. Now, you might have heard about lots of sampling concept when you did VRN. Okay, so similarly for DS, let us see some. First of all, we'll see some definitions, some theoretical part, some equations, and then we'll try to understand how this sampling distribution can help us solve different types of problems. Okay, so coming to the first, the next topic, the sampling distribution. First of all, in the introduction, let me tell you, your sampling technique is basically used, or you can say commonly used, for estimating the values of a certain characteristics. Let us say the arithmetic mean of the entire population. Now, the value of the characteristics, in this case, the mean of the sample of say n object or n number of objects, which we call it as sampling unit, out of the total population of here we are using capital N object, is known as statistic. Okay, now in this case I have given the example of x bar, that is your mean. So mean is known as your statistic here. Whereas the corresponding value for the entire population is called as a parameter. The example is the mu. Okay. Now sampling analysis is used for estimating the parameter for the given statistics. That means using the sample, I can say that the value, or if I use the sample mean, I can say the sample mean is same as your population mean. Okay. Or it is very close to your population. So whenever we are picking up a sample, especially when you have done your research, your in VRN, whenever we pick up some research and I want to do a research on a given topic where I have to collect some data from a group of people, okay, that becomes my sample. Might be, let us for example, what is a population here? If I'm doing a research to find out how many students are very okay with giving online exam. Now, if you know, University of Pune is conducting online exam for all the final year students. Now, when I talk about the final year students, all the final year students becomes my population. Okay, and then from there, if I pick up only say management students, okay, if I'm categorizing it, when I say management students, again it becomes a population because we are categorizing the whole population into smaller ones, sector-wise. From that, management students, I pick up only few students. Okay, so when I'm picking up some few students, I have to be very careful while picking up my sample, because people or students staying in a say city area or area where there's lots of connectivity will find online exams very easy, or there won't be any problem. Whereas people staying in some outskirts, they have less connectivity, internet issues are there. So they'll find that the problem with the online exam is very severe. They are not able to give the online exam properly. So that means if I pick up a mean, or let us say I'm doing some calculation or standard deviation or median, whichever characteristic I'm trying to find out, it won't be same as the population mean. My sample should be picked up very carefully, okay, such that whatever calculation I'm doing on my sample should be very close to my population mean or median or standard deviation, whatever characteristics you're trying to find out. That is what it means. Okay, so if I take a sampling distribution, let us go ahead. If I take a sampling distribution, if we take all possible number of samples, it is not always possible to take all the samples, okay, of equal size. The entire population cannot be covered. But let us say if it is covered, if we can cover, then we can say that the sample mean in this example here, what we are talking about, the sample mean or standard deviation will be same as the population mean or deviation. Okay. We can easily take an example where we are taking a particular size. Let us say we are taking a size of say 100 students. Okay, in each sample. Okay, we can find out the mean of each sample and then find the frequency of the mean for all of them, for all, and then come to a conclusion and try to find the mean of the whole population. Now, this will be possible only if my sample or my entire population is covered. Okay, so if I write this in formula form, okay, we can write it like this. Let us take an example here where we consider the number of workers X in capital N equal to 5, a small scale unit. And we have been given the number as X is 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10, which forms the population. Okay. Now, to find the value, the mean of the number of workers in a unit, that is your mu, we can write the formula as sigma x. So we'll be adding this all these values 2 plus 4 plus 6 plus 8 plus 10 divided by capital N, that is 5. Now this becomes my one sample. If so, the answer comes to 6. Now considering all possible samples of size 2, let us say all possible samples I take and try to find out the mean of each sample. Okay, so my table will look like this. So let us go here, and this becomes my table. So for each sample, if you look at the values, for 2 values, that is 2 and 4, my mean is coming as 3, and so on. So for all the values, if you take this total, if you look at the frequency, you can find out the frequency and the probability for this particular mean as well. Okay, now this will help me find out the number of occurrences of frequency. So I can write the new table like this, where my total frequency is coming as 10. Okay, and when I find the probability, okay, now the total of probability is always 1, you know that. Now using this, I can find out the probability distribution of the sample means. Okay, plus I can use it to the population mean now. Okay, so I can write the function in this form where mu x bar is equal to sigma f, a summation f, which is your frequency, into x bar, that is your mean, divided by small m, the total number of samples, which will again give me the same value. Now this is possible because in the previous example also, when we did the calculation, we had considered the whole population there. Okay. So if we are considering the whole population and then later on we are also using some samples, small samples, remember the characteristics, whichever you're going to calculate, that is your mean, standard deviation, or any other median, they will be the same value. Okay. But if we are not able to cover all the population, then please remember the probability, you can say the mean of your sample will be very close to the mean of your entire population. It won't be exactly the same. Clear? So there are some points to be noted based on this sampling distribution. That is your sampling distribution of any statistical measure, like I said, mean, your median, deviation, or proportion, even proportion. Okay, we can apply this theory there. Now, each item in a sampling distribution is a particular statistics of a sample. Okay, so note down this few points. So we can have a sampling distribution of any statistical measure. Secondly, each item in a sampling distribution is a particular statistic of a sample. And if the number of samples, that is n, if we consider this to be very large, then the sampling distribution tends quite closer to the normal distribution. Okay. Now, how large? The large can be defined greater than m, you can say greater than 30 can be considered as large. Okay. Now, what are the different types of distribution you might have heard or you might have done before? That is your sampling distribution of a proportion you might have done. Then sampling distribution of mean you have heard above. Then F distribution you might have heard. And in BRM, you might have also done your chi-square distribution. Okay, so these are some sampling distribution. And we will be learning two of them. That is your sampling distribution of mean and sampling distribution of proportion. That is what we are going to learn. Okay, now there's lots of theory here. You need to note down each and every point. And when we do the actual problem, when we start solving the problem, you have to apply all these points or theory part which we have learned while solving the actual given problem. Okay. So as I said, mean of sampling distribution is same as the mean of the population. Okay, provided we are covering the entire population. Okay. Now, what is sampling distribution of mean? If you look at the definition, now it is the probability distribution of all possible sample means, okay, of a given size. That is what you mean by sample distribution of mean. Okay, the example which we considered in the previous case is nothing but an example of a sampling distribution of mean. Right? So, as per the definition, it is a probability distribution of all possible sample means of a given size, selected from the population. Okay. And as I said, the example which we had taken in the previous one is same. So you can consider that as a sample distribution of mean. Okay. Now, one more thing I have told you, your mean, if it is not covering the entire population, the mean is going to be closer to the population mean. Okay. So sample distribution mean will be close to your population mean based on the sample size or the population. Then there is a theorem called central limit theorem. Let us see that. Which states that irrespective of the shape of the distribution of the population, the distribution of the sample means approaches the normal probability distribution as the sample size increases. And what do you mean by big size? As I told you, all the size, if it is the value of, let us say, n, if it is greater than equal to 30, it can be considered as a bigger size. Okay. Not a small size, or we cannot make use, it's not very close or same as the sample distribution. Okay. So irrespective, again, once more, irrespective of the shape of the distribution of the population, the distribution of the sample means approaches the normal probability distribution as the sample size increases. Okay. Clear? And the size, as I said, should be greater than equal to 30. One more. What do you mean by standard error of the mean, which can be given by sigma x bar? It is the measure of the dispersion of the distribution of sample mean. Now, the formula you need to note down is given like this: sigma x bar equal to the square root of summation of x bar minus mu x bar bracket square divided by capital M. Now, x bar is your sample mean. Your mu x bar is your mean of sample mean. Mean of sample mean. Please remember, mean of sample means. And your M is the total number of sample means under consideration. Okay. We will stop here. It's less than 1 minute. And we'll continue from here and we'll see more theoretical things and some formulas. Okay. Please revise this because it's very important. We'll stop here. Thanks, everyone. And when we come next, we continue.